revolution. Revolutions are always missed by people. You don't see it when it happens. When the iPhone we talked about, when it was launched, it didn't move the share price of Apple at all. Surprising, no? And if you had not bought that phone, instead bought the stock worth $500, you would be a millionaire today. So that's how you miss the revolutions. But you also miss evolutionary changes. That's very difficult to comprehend, and that's why every year you have a product reveal by Tim Cook now or by Sundar, and then you need people to tell you what it means, because you will get to see it very soon, but you need to comprehend what that change means and what it is. And we turn to experts. For that, I would invite you, Ankur.
So we heard about identifying a problem. So nobody in this room can deny that this is a big problem being faced on customer side as well as from corporate side. So definitely everyone is looking for a solution to this. And when I was going through the presentation, definitely it's an ecosystem which is touching everybody in the system. Plus, it brings a lot of efficiency in the system. Okay, if we can think of a campaign and it can reach customer at right time, it changes the effectiveness of that campaign. Anything which reaches after the right time has gone, obviously it doesn't make sense. So yes, looks promising.
So what you're saying is that it makes you nimble. You are able to react and you are able to do what you want to do, right? That I can completely relate to, and I'm sure many others in the room will relate to that. The problems that were touched upon are not small. Puneet mentioned a lot of templates to manage. Can you imagine 30,000 templates to manage for one client? How do they even know what is in those templates? But that is the level of templates people have created, right? They should know what is working and what is not working, what can be cleaned up. If you live in a castle with 300 rooms, you can't be safe. You don't know what's happening in 290 rooms which you don't generally use, right? So that's the kind of cleanup I think it promises. Let's also thanks for that perspective. And now to you, Gautam. What do you think? What is your reaction? First reaction.
Thank you. So my first reaction would be we are mixing spam and scam. I think they are two separate things, and a lot of spam gives us easy access to scam, right? So they are interlinked in that fashion, but we have to be very sure that the word spam is not only fraudster that is sending, but we as our enterprise also we keep spamming customers. Like Rich spoke about templates people use for some A/B testing on their marketing creatives and so on and so forth. Now, as a bank, we have a different perspective. As a bank, we are taking care of somebody else's money. So it's our fiduciary to take care of that money, right? Now, the way regulations are, the same phone number is your identity in the bank now because your OTP goes onto the same number. If you do a transaction, the transaction alerts goes on the same number, right? Also, if the bank wants to communicate to you, it has to communicate on the same number, right? So there's a very thin line on what to communicate, when to communicate, how to communicate. Typically, all marketers, we get excited and we want to push too many messages to customers, right? Now, too many messages means, in my mind, nothing. I'll tell you my example. Being a banker, I know how it works. Thanks to some smart technology, now the OTP can be auto-read on your transaction. I have got around 1,200 plus SMSs in my SMS box which are not read. I have got 13,000 plus emails on my Gmail which are not been read. Now, we may be happy that we keep sending these messages out and we are very happy that our conversion is 2%, 4%, open rate is something, click rate is something, and these are all metrics. But you look at the customer, right? I think that's where the problem is, right? We need to really get our number of messages going down to customers go down to a very, very drastic level. And I think this kind of helps there. But we have to ensure that we are sending the right message to the customer in a very, very simplistic manner. Maybe one message a day could be more than enough, right? And with AI, not only just to create content, right? We should use AI in looking at customer behavior now, right? So I would love Puneet to work more on customer behavior going forward on this. And then this becomes very powerful because you're also telling what time, what mode, which message to send to whom, right? So then you're not looking at two spectrum, which is on one side the enterprise, second side the telco, but you also look at customer as a third element, right? And then this becomes a completely fantastic platform to go to. But I think, is there a need? The answer is obvious yes. Right? Is there a problem? It's a big problem. Right? And a bank of our size, we also spend humongous amount of money in sending the message out. So it's not only spam that goes to customer, it's a huge leakage on the bank side as well. There's too much of money that's getting invested on this. Right? So congratulations to you guys. Hope to see this is doing well.
Thank you very much. Now, two things that you said are very important, and I want to call them out. One is, of course, very refreshing to see that you said that we spam the customers ourselves. Yes, we do unwittingly, but we do, right? And you don't want to spam. So how do we help you not spam but still remain effective is a big solve which is required, and I'll seek your assistance later on this issue. The other thing he mentioned was about the OTP being read on its own, and that spam doesn't mean anything because it comes in and gets read and it's all fine. This is a huge problem. Tell you how. The OTP comes in, the message has two numbers in it, and my smartphone unsmartly reads the wrong number and feeds it, and the OTP fails. It's happened with me, right? It didn't recognize which one is the OTP and which one is not the OTP. Now, when you make a smart template, you are actually talking to the person as well as to the AI agent or the dumb agent on the phone to read the correct number. But for that, you need to craft the template in a particular way. There is a standard. Unfortunately, most senders don't know that standard. They can get anything registered, and then their OTP is not correctly read by the agent on the phone. This AI will help you do that. It will format it correctly so that it's not missed. You read it, you can read it, and the machine, when it wants to read it, can also do that. So that was something I thought I would clarify in case it's still, so very important comments both from you. Vish, I will give you the microphone, right? So you've seen the whole area. You connect to the platforms, you connect to businesses, you've been around, you've seen the evolution of problem era and all that. I have a question for you. How do we collaborate? How do we reduce his unwitting spam?
Hi everyone, welcome to the session. And I think I'm in a very interesting place as a CPaaS player. For the last 20 years, we have worked with thousands of CIOs and CMOs solving their problems of last mile communication. So this has given us rich experience. One, of course, because we've worked across verticals, but we've also been an ecosystem player. We have worked with the regulator, where we have worked with technology providers like Tanla when the regulation was being implemented through technology. So we have participated in open house consultations and so on. We have become the voice of the customer. So because we have interacted with so many of the relevant stakeholders in the industry, we have gone with the assimilated view to the regulators and tried to create the right regulation which allows the business to prosper and the technology to solve the problems. So that said, first of all, I have a little anecdote. You mentioned about the OTP and number getting confused in the message. So only yesterday or day before, when I was on my way here, I wanted to sell one of my stocks on Zerodha. So when I do that, I get a message to enter the OTP from CDSL. Now CDSL is of course a customer of Carex. The message comes properly. It's so effective, so timely that there is no delay. Now you see the efficiency of the message is there in terms of speed. But what happens is it comes with two numbers. One, the OTP, and the second, the call center number of the CDSL. And when I do autofill, it takes the last number and it fills the call center number and the OTP fails. Now, clearly, this is a template problem which can be solved with Trubloq 2.0. So that is one. Second, I have this experience of working with so many brands where on time and again we have seen that their CTAs are getting blocked because of complaints. For example, a large bank in the country has sent messages with some CTA. Now that CTA, that number, VMN number is blocked. So it creates a business continuity problem because now all the campaigns which are underway cannot be responded to because the number is blocked. So it becomes the highest level escalation, which even comes to me on behalf of my operating team. And then I have to now liaise with operators. Also, sometimes to the extent of DOT, please make this number active. It's actually a pedigree bank. So imagine the business loss which we all experience. But with the 2.0, Trubloq 2.0, this problem will go away because now you can solve the CTA problems as well as create new ones on the fly. So that new ones, new CTAs and templates and so on, which do not take days for approval. So business continuity can happen. So I think that is one part. Now talking about collaboration, one on our own, we work with the brands where we work with the CMOs on talking about, like you said, we unwittingly spam. So the number of messages you send out, that's very important to control. But more importantly, it is also what content goes out, because if it is not personalized, then even though I'm a valid opt-in customer from the bank or other brand, I will perceive it as spam because it is irrelevant. So we have been working with our customers, educating through our experience on this aspect. But from the industry collaboration perspective, we have always participated in the open consultations and given the customer view. And for example, now I have this view that this digital consent, which has been mandated by the regulation, but it has not been adopted yet. So I think if I can have my way, I would like to evangelize this by talking to our customers that this is a good thing to happen. And there is a lot of resistance, and we also hear the resistance, why it is not a good thing. So we can help take the view from the customer side back to the regulator and tweak it as necessary for the comfort, so that this becomes a medium which goes live. Because with digital consent being available in the system, imagine what all is possible, because definitely it will reduce the spam. Also, I have a very innovative kind of thought that what if all these consents were profiled, and this profiling information is used effectively, which is sitting in DLT but is allowed from a regulatory perspective, then all the brands can leverage that profiling information for better personalization and hence reducing spam.
Thanks a lot. A lot of things you said are so important. I want to react to 2 or 3 to take the views of others, because my brain only captures 2 or 3, then it starts to delete. You said, that you could change the asset or the template or something, and I was thinking it's like a number lock. If you have a lock on your main door and somebody gets a key or makes a duplicate key, you are in trouble. Because now you need to get the carpenter, you need to get a locksmith, you need to change that lock. But if you have a number lock, you can change the number and you're fine. Right? The number is lost, it's changeable. The key changes. Right? In this, what I could relate was that with this new way, when a compromise is detected by you or by the regulator or by the telco or through a complaint, compromise will happen. Somebody will lose the key, right? So you can change it immediately. So you don't need to get, don't need to incur the expense and get a lot of professionals to come and do the repair work, right? So that's, I think I heard you say that's possible. Then you said about digital consent and its acquisition and its use in profiling. Now, that's very, very interesting. He said he doesn't want to spam, but he accepted it. Nobody wants to spam actually. Just no one wants to spam. Spam is expensive. Even if it is very small price, it still costs money. We are not talking of scam. You made the distinction very clear. The scammer is different, but spammer needs our help. The more we help the spammer, the less he spams because he doesn't want to spam. He also doesn't want to spam, and the rest of us also don't want to spam, right? So you made a very important point, and let me go back to McKinsey for an answer for this as an expert. So we have seen a technology reveal in a sense, you know, Gen AI and the new technologies. Now there are other technologies, zero knowledge proof, privacy enhancing protocols and stuff like that. Where do you see the next gear change? When and where do you see we are going? And whether his wish can come to life, that the information which is available, even in templates, even in consent with the banks, and I mean, you could be profiled. Can you be profiled for your advantage rather than for your disadvantage? Right? And can people collaborate and make it work for you rather than enable somebody else to work against you? So that's what I put across to you.
What we are attempting to do is very, very close to what he said. But we are saying consent is one, which is using his personal information to kind of find more about him. This could be an offer, this could be a next best product, this could be next best action. We are trying to marry this with his preference. We also want to go to customer and say, you tell us what your preference is. You want us to send in WhatsApp? We'll do that. You want us to call only on the Saturday? We'll do that. You want us to call only on these dates? We'll do that. And we also want to make it very, very simple for him to come and change. For example, if I'm going to buy a new house, I know it. That's the time when I want best offers. I want to know what things are happening out. I may just go and give consent for that specific item. And it could not be a home loan. It could be innovation in the house. It could be interior decorator. It could be something else. It could be appliances that I can buy, right? So that's what has to come in. So we have to look at DPDP in a very different way. At least the take that we have on DPDP is that it's a fantastic initiative. It's a start of something which is very important. But along with data privacy, data protection, we get data preference. And then it's DP, and then customers at the center of it. It's very, very powerful. The customer decides what he wants, and then we are just helping him serve the things that he wants at the time that he wants. Right? So that's our take on this whole thing.
So the earlier UCC, the first version when it came, it had a D&D version of all of this where industries were listed, that as a user you give consent to these industries, and even preferences around the time of day or day of the week you want to receive messages, and you could switch them on and off. So all of this has existed. However, at an implementation level, whilst technically it is supported, but there is no consumer adoption. So no consumer is actually altering their D&D preferences because they're not educated. They have not been educated. The onus was on the telecom operators. They haven't done it. And now the big question is, if something like this, what you are proposing, has to succeed, then at a consumer level, that awareness must exist that I can alter my preferences. Like right now, if I need a housing loan because I'm in that house buying mode, then I should switch off around that on. So I think the onus should move from telcos to brands as well, because brands have a better relationship and an ongoing relationship. So through your invoicing, through your communication, bills, whatever you engage with, you could actually evangelize that as well. Because adoption at the end is, at a consumer level, is the most difficult task.
Yeah, so I was thinking about what you said, and it made me think of my wife. In the morning, Uday thought about his wife and became emotional. That happens. I also got emotional when I heard you too, because I thought about my wife. The problem is, you ask consent. Consent should be at the center of everything. But then there is something called consent fatigue, right? You keep asking. Instead of doing something, you keep asking. The consent itself becomes a spam, right? Like my wife. You know, I would I ask her, should we go there? Should we go there? This restaurant, that restaurant, this too. She gets exasperated. I mean, let's get on with life. Okay? So I've known her now for a long time. I know what she would like or what she would not like, and therefore I should act on that information rather than try and ask every question. Right? That's the problem of spam, right? And that's the point he made, that know your target customer, don't spam the customer, act with information that you have in their to their advantage, and do it without creating harm and without enabling profiling for the wrong reasons, right? So Ankur has been quiet. I want to give you a chance to say something if you have some thoughts, because we're coming to close.
You rightly mentioned about communication fatigue, which we also feel that customers, it's an issue. Right? You over communicate, you lead customer to a level where you disengage an engaged customer, and we see that happening. Okay, so right frequency, which Mr. Bajaj also mentioned, it's very important to figure out. Two, I feel your communication which you send, the purpose of the communication also makes a difference. For us, for credit card, the timely delivery is an important item for OTP and for the confirmation of transactions. When it comes to banking communications, those if there's a change in policies, that has to be clearly transparent, in a transparent way communicated, because that's how trust is built with the customer. So my view is that it has to be a right mix of it, and I'm sure with this platform that thing can be solved.
Yeah. So since we are now almost out of time, I want to do two things, just so that you don't take it closed in advance. First, I want to thank all of you for very candid comments and very honest conversation. And the second thing, now in the same spirit of openness and candidness, on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being maximum excitement, that we have some hard problems here. This is a wicked problem. It's not just hard, it's wicked. It resists solution. And it is the solution which illuminates the problem rather than, So, Ankur, on 1 to 5, what's your reaction?
If I look at the intent behind this whole thing which we have seen, definitely a 5, no doubt in that, right? And I just hope that the kind of issues we talked about, and we are able to see those issues solved through this platform.
Thank you.
So I just don't take it seriously. It's a light comment I want to make. The only problem with this is we are making so telcos are the ones who benefit out of sending messages. And the moment we have telcos who have to kind of regulate it, it'll never work, right? Because it's counterintuitive. If I have to, I make money because of sending messages, and I am the guardian of that, saying that okay, now today I've changed my stand. I'm the guardian and I'll safeguard it. I think that's difficult, right? So intent, definitely, you're saying 5. I would say intent is 10, right? We have to figure out what is the right path. What power remains with the telcos? What power remains with the technology? What power remains with the enterprise? I think, and that's when it'll change, right? Till the time enterprise is the user, it's not going to take off. It has to be enterprise who's driving it, right? Like sir, like we said, why it didn't adopt earlier? Because telcos, they have no intense incentive to cut down on messages, right? So we'll have to look at that in a different way and say, what is the right path? What team plays what role? And then how do we want to scale it in a collaborative way, right? So that's my take on it.
Excellent. So in this evolution, when I mentioned in the morning, TRAI wanted the technology players and the senders to collaborate. Maybe we are seeing that evolution takes time. It's a slow process, right? It works well, but it takes time. So 5 years down the line, we are here. Maybe your wish will be the next step.
Next 5 years,
No. We invite you to collaborate, and all these senders over here to collaborate so that we can deliver it faster. 6 months, why not even next year? We can do that, and I appreciate the candor once again in what you said. He's given 10, but I reduce it to 5, and you still have a chance to say your.
Well, if I speak about on behalf of my operations team, my customer service team, because we get daily similar problems which are not heretofore possible to be solved, happening every now and then, including escalations, like I said earlier. So all of this will go away. So clearly, 5 on 5 from the operations perspective. Our customer service teams will be happy. Our customers will be happy because we will be able to solve their problems for continuity of their campaigns. Now talking about from the other perspective, which is forward looking, and you spoke about evolutions should not be missed. So on that, I would say that I think Talna will need to continue because the journey has just begun, like you said in the first session. So we need to do much more on this subject to be able to say that we are actually addressing spam efficiently and effectively.
Great. So the judges have spoken. India's got talent. You are through to the finals. You have reached the final. The pass has been given to you. And I want to thank all of you. I want to thank the wonderful audience. I wish we had some time to answer your questions. But if there are questions, the whole product is available here in the pod, right? And he's here for the next 4 days. Anytime you want, walk in there, get a taste of it, get to see it, and I'm sure you won't want to downgrade from that experience to anything less. And I invite the dean and his colleagues to do a case study here. Please, you have heard what all of these people have said. Record it, and let's do a case study on this case also. Thank you very much. You've all been wonderful. All the best.